This is a friend of mine, Dr. Larry Brilliant, who's a medical doctor. And his wife came to India, and she met this guru. And she came back and got her husband and brought him to India to meet him. My wife had met Maharaj-ji and had come to get me in America and bring me back to meet him. When we first went to see Maharaj-ji, I was put off by what I saw. All these crazy Westerners wearing white clothes and hanging around this fat old man in a blanket. More than anything else, I hated seeing Westerners touch his feet. On my first day there, he totally ignored me. But after the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh day, during which he also ignored me, I began to grow very upset. I felt no love for him. In fact, I felt nothing. I decided that my wife had been captured by some crazy cult. By the end of the week, I was ready to leave. We were staying at the hotel up in Nainital, and on the 8th day, I told my wife I wasn't feeling well. So that he didn't have to go see the guru. I spent the day walking around the lake, thinking that if my wife was so involved in something that was clearly not for me, it must mean that our marriage was at an end. I looked at the flowers, the mountains, and the reflections in the lake, but nothing could dispel my depression. And then I did something I'd never really done in my adult life. I prayed. I asked God, what am I doing here? Who is this man? These people are all crazy. I don't belong here. Just then I remembered the phrase, had ye but faith, ye would not need miracles. Okay, God, I don't have any faith. Send me a miracle. I kept looking for a rainbow, but nothing happened. So I decided to leave the next day. The next morning, we took a taxi down to Kenchi, to the temple, to say goodbye. Although I didn't like Maharaj-ji, I thought I'd just be very honest and have it out with him. We got to Kenchi before anyone else was there, and we sat in front of his tucket, the wooden table on which he sat, on the porch. Maharaj-ji had not yet come out from inside the room. There was some fruit on the tucket, and one of the apples had fallen on the ground. So I bent over to pick it up. Just then, Maharaj-ji came out of his room and stepped on my hand, pinning me to the ground. So there I was on my knees, touching his foot. In that position, I detested. How ludicrous. He looked at me and asked, where were you yesterday? This is in Hindi, it's just, I'm giving it in English. Then he asked, were you at the lake? He said lake in English. When he said lake, the word lake to me, I began to get this very strange feeling at the base of my spine. And my whole body tingled. It felt very strange. What were you doing at the lake? I began to feel very tight. Were you horseback riding? No. Were you boating? No. Did you go swimming? No. Then he leaned over and he spoke very quietly. Were you talking to God? Did you ask for something? When he did that, I fell apart and started to cry like a baby. He pulled me over and started pulling my beard and repeating, did you ask for something? Did you ask for something? That really felt like my initiation. By that time, others had arrived and they were around me, caressing me, and I realized that almost everyone there had gone through some experience like that. A trivial question such as, "Were you at the lake yesterday?" which had no meaning to anyone else, shattered my perception of reality. That was my welcome. After that, I just wanted to rub his feet. Those miracles are really, the function of them is to break you out of the set you have. Right? Beyond that, they're just more spiritual materialism. They're just more stuff.